After fully 7 Calls of Duty from the Second World War, the franchise original developer, Infinity Ward, was getting bored of it, and figured that audiences were as well. And so they switched time periods to today's world, creating Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. Their guess was correct, and the game was a smash hit beyond their wildest expectations, going on to become the best-selling FPS of all time. But under the alternating year rule that Activision had set up, 2008 was Treyarch's year to release a Call of Duty title. And since they'd begun production long before the modern-day gamble had paid off, once again, players would be receiving a call from World War II. Developer Treyarch had begun work on Call of Duty World at War right after the release of Call of Duty 3. Though they were halfway through development by the time Modern Warfare released, many of Infinity Ward's innovations made their way into the new title. For one thing, World at War featured a tweaked version of Infinity Ward's proprietary engine, making an already great game look even better. Its multiplayer also took the upgrade and killstreak reward system from Call of Duty 4 and updated it, or rather backdated it, for World War II. To mix up the setting a bit, the game expanded out to the oft-neglected Pacific theater of the war, following US Marines as they captured islands from Japanese control. Still, to stick with success, players would still be able to shoot Nazis from Russian guns. Where Modern Warfare had been a risky experiment, World at War would play it safe.
Shit.
Put him down!
Perhaps trying to appeal to a broader audience, the game reached out to Hollywood and hired Kiefer Sutherland and Gary Oldman as voice actors in the game. Similarly, the recent slate of popular undead flicks no doubt influenced the creation of the Nazi zombie mode, something the authenticity-oriented Infinity Ward would never have done. Buoyed by the reputation of the franchise, the game went on to be a smash. Its first DLC, a map pack, sold a record-setting 1 million units in its first weekend, over 3 times as quickly as Call of Duty 4's map pack. The game itself sold over 11 million copies in 8 months, more than even Modern Warfare had sold at that same point. With all this attention, expectations were sky high for the next title in the Call of Duty series. And in early 2009, Infinity Ward unveiled their next project, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, or perhaps just Modern Warfare 2. The Call of Duty moniker has gone in and out of use almost since the game was announced. The team at Infinity Ward have stated that they internally refer to it simply as Modern Warfare 2, and they see it as an offshoot series that should stand up by its own merits. But after market research showed that the Call of Duty name had greater recognition, it was decided that the name would be added to the normal edition of the game. It will be the first true sequel in the Call of Duty franchise, since it's now the Modern Warfare franchise, or something, and will continue the narrative begun in Call of Duty 4, or Modern Warfare 1. The game will feature several unique set pieces, including a snowmobile chase and an underwater sequence. While these will undoubtedly make for an exhilarating experience, questions have been raised as to whether Infinity Ward is now going for the very same superhero bravado that they made their own company to avoid in the first place. The title will offer not 2, but 3 gameplay modes this time around: single-player, co-op, and multiplayer. The co-op segments will be completely distinct from the single-player, with its own unique maps and storylines, giving players 3 different games to enjoy on one disc. But on October 18th, Infinity Ward unexpectedly announced that they would be dropping dedicated server support for the PC, replacing it with a console-style matchmaking service. As such, the future of Modern Warfare 2's PC community is unclear, since customizations and mods, the hallmarks of PC gaming, will no longer be available. The news caused an uproar in the gaming world and has, to some extent, lessened Infinity Ward's once sterling reputation. Nevertheless, Given the history of the franchise and the popularity of Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare 1, the game is set to be an absolute smash. But having now done 2 modern games, as they've done 2 World War II games before, the question on everyone's mind is what Infinity Ward will do next. Rumors have been around for a while that they've secretly been working on a totally new title, unrelated to Call of Duty or Modern Warfare. As ever, Infinity Ward remains tight-lipped on its future projects, if it even knows what they are yet. It is also unclear what Treyarch will be doing next, sticking with World War II or moving into the modern realm themselves, and whether or not it will continue the story or make its own. Call of Duty began life as a way for 22 industry veterans to make the kind of game they'd always wanted, with a level of authenticity, variety, and risk-taking no one else was willing to do at the time. Over the course of only 6 years, they have risen from improbable newcomer to one of the very most elite developers in the world. With Call of Duty having become one of gaming's biggest franchises, or perhaps 2 of them, that original crew has proven their belief that attention to detail and quality indeed makes for mainstream hits. While scores of other games may mimic the look of their games, until developers really start to understand what makes them feel the way they do, Infinity Ward will continue to rise above the rest.
You will.